So in this video, I'm going to be answering questions that you have been asking in the comments section. RVing with G asks, do I have a channel? If you're watching this, I'm pretty sure that you found me. If not, yes, I do have a channel. And I want to give a quick shout out to Carol from Glorious Life on Wheels, because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have a channel. I met her at the WRTR and she encouraged me after doing the van tour that a lot of you have probably seen and come over from there. And so she gave me the courage and I'm really grateful for her. So thank you, Carol, for that. Others have asked about the van itself, and I don't have a lot of information besides the obvious, but Emily Shaw asked, do you have any information about the year? And Mill Flowers also asks, do you know if it's a 2013 or what year it is? So it is a 2010. And the reason I wanted to look for a 2013 or older is because they changed the style of the cab itself. And I liked this little roof, kind of the ladybug look, and it gives just a little bit more height on top. So that's why I chose the 2010. Sabrina Smith asks, how much did it cost when I got it? And then Yes Clearly asks, how many miles did it have? It cost me $5,995, which I thought was a nice, good number. Yes Clearly asked if also, how did I know that it was in good mechanical condition when I bought it? I bought from a local dealer so that I could go in to see it before I bought it and do a test drive, and I didn't do anything before really doing a lot of research on lots of vehicles in the area. I did lots of test drives. I went into lots of dealers and really honed in on what I need, what I was going to not live without, what I could live without. And then I did take it to a local mechanic here in my town that I trust to give it a once over before I actually decided that I wanted it. And so that is how I bought the van, and it had 69,000 miles on it, so that was another plus. Mona Provost asks, can you stand in your Transit Connect? And if you've seen some of my videos, you know that I cannot, but I wanted to show you because it was important to me as I was checking out vehicles, what were the dimensions inside. So I can stand up about this much. I am 5'8" for reference. And so that means that I can get on some pants, I can stand up and do whatever that you need at that point. But to give you the measurement, it is 54 from, so here I have, on the bottom is just the rubber matting that they had, and then I have a carpet on top of that. So it may take up maybe a half an inch. So it may, 54 inches is what I would give it. And then width-wise, again, it didn't have the windows in it, but it is a little 60.5 inches wide. So that kind of gives you some reference, and you can see I can put my arms all the way out to the sides. And for me, I like the kind of height that I have from my head to the ceiling, which is about a foot, 12 inches. You'll see probably in future van videos about exercising and being able to stretch and things like that in here very easily. So the next set of questions is about the bed. If you haven't seen, my first video that I ever did was on the bed, so that does give somewhat of an explanation about this, so you can reference it here. But I do want to just kind of touch on it a little bit because there were like 4 or 5 of you who asked specific questions. Greta Myers, I hope I'm saying that right, Second Act, Inward Explorer, Victoria Jimenez, and Lynn Marie. You all kind of asked me specifics about the link, which is also it'll be in this video as well as it is in the bed video, and then what size it is and all of that. So those specifics are in that video, but it's 40 by 76. It is called a tatami mattress. What I loved about it is that it does just fold up like this, and you see this. it folds up easily and it folds out easily. It's about 3 to 4 inches, more padding here, and it has the clicking mechanism. The clicking mechanism allows 2 parts. So this head part here can go down flat, and so does this, so that it folds all the way, right? So then you can lay flat in it. And then this, of course, I've shown you in other videos how this folds out onto my bench to make the bed. So I like it because all I have to do is lift it like this and it's a couch. Just like in one little step like that. So Lynn Marie, I gave a rather detailed description in the comment section, but it still was probably confusing without being able to see it. She asked about these L brackets here and how they were attached and what the mechanism was there. So as you can see, hopefully more clearly now that the mattress is off, these are 2 pieces of plywood. So all I did here so that when this top piece stays in place when I'm on the road, I just put 2 little screws here with these bungees, and it just keeps it from sliding forward. The bungees are attached in the back by these little hooks right here, and I just put it in there, and so then I pull them, nothing fancy schmancy. But this piece then just sits on top of this piece. So the L bracket is attached to the plywood in 2 places because it is only a 1/2 inch plywood. I wanted to secure it in a way that I didn't think it would fall. So I just every, several inches here, put a screw. I had to drill holes in the metal first and then put these screws in so that they met on the wood part. And then this then just acts as a guide to allow it to slide but not move this way. And I did have the rail on this side, but took it off because it was interfering with the cabinet. So that's what I tried to explain in my other video, but probably because the mat was in the way, you couldn't see that. So then Peppermint Patty asks, is the tubing for the faucet about the size of a phone charger? So here's a phone charger, and we will see about that, all right? So this is the tubing that I have, and no, it's a little bit bigger, see? So I have my little handy dandy tape measure here, and I think I linked this in the comments, and it's about a 1/4 inch, maybe a 3/8 of an inch tubing. The faucet itself comes with this size tubing, so you just have to make sure that it fits inside. So this looks like that's about a 1/4 inch, or maybe, yeah, that's about a 1/4 inch. So this one's a little less than a 1/4 inch so that it fits into this tubing. Now, a lot of you were asking what it is, and I looked through and I wasn't being able to find the link, and I think it's a dog shower, basically is what it is, and it has a pump of its own. Now, let me show you here because I'm not gonna be able to get all this out. It comes with this rechargeable plug, and in here, I don't know if you can see it, but basically this is where you charge it, and then there's a button that turns the pump on. So when I take a shower, this just slides out over here, and I hook it up over there, but the tubing for this I just have tucked away back here because it is attached to the mechanism already that pump is. And so it will turn on when I turn on the pump and act as a shower. And this just kind of comes out, and I show that in my shower video. And it's got a quick release here, and it's really easy. So Mona Provost, you asked a lot of good questions. And you continue in this area if there is anything else stored in here and how big this jug is. So this is a 2.5 gallon jug. And then what else I have stored back here, I just put this in, which is another one of those little drawers that I found that just has an adhesive, a self-adhesive that sticks to that. And I'm going to be putting these in there and some other little doodads that I just need stored out of the way. More importantly, I have my extra butane. And I have that, so this is a wool sock, and then I have Reflectix just because in the winter I didn't want to get it cold. So I have 3 that I store and then 1 that I use, and then I switch them out, and I just try to keep at least 2 or 3 back here in this area, and I try to keep them warm in little socks. I don't know how much it works, but I have not had an issue with me. And Lynn Scadden asks, where's your shower and toilet? I do touch on that in my how I take a shower in my van, and so you can look at that link for that. I won't go into too much detail beyond just kind of looking at it, and I'll probably get into my toilet in another video. Con Trop, I hope I'm saying your name right, and Mona Provost asked about my cabinet. And this, I do have a link in one of the descriptions. I think about the faucet. I gave this because I knew that people would be wondering about this. And it's just one of those build yourself, and it is a bathroom cabinet. And the reason I chose it is because of its width. It's a lot thinner than what people normally put in their vans, and I just wanted the space here and where the bed area is, so I purposefully went for one that was shorter. And I liked the way it looked. Of course, I had to cut it to accommodate my water area here, and I still have to stabilize that a little bit, but I liked that I could open the drawer. When I had my bed another way, I could open both drawers, but I liked that it had these shelves. It had this little area in here that I store extra food or extra whatever in here that I don't need to have access to that much. And then it has one shelf, but then I built this one that slides out where I can store food here, and then this little thing for my stove. And I put these little loopholes here so that I just use these bungees, which are from IKEA, to fasten it when I'm going on the road and nothing moves. And I added these magnets. They didn't come with this, so that they wouldn't come open when I travel. And you saw these little drawers and things that are adhesive, self-adhesive drawers, which all these links will be in the links below. These are from IKEA as well. And they're pretty sturdy. They're not very thick, so you do have to measure a lot when you are out and about and thinking about the kinds of canisters you're going to use. This is also, I just got from Amazon. It's a paper towel roll. This also, the mirror is from IKEA. Right now have 2 bolts in here to keep it. I do have to secure it a little bit better because sometimes it stays secure this way, but it has a tendency, if I'm going over bumpy rolls, to pop up and out. So I have to figure out how to keep that secure. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, because that's been a bothersome thing. I just kind of take it down when I get on the road. Lawrence Coe asks how long I'm usually out in the van, and you asked that because I don't have refrigeration, and you will see my video on how I cook without refrigeration in the links below or here somewhere. But I did want to touch on this because I don't know that I covered it very thoroughly before. These also are from IKEA, and they house a lot of my food. What I do to get around the fact of not having a lot of storage or refrigeration for food is that, because I could have rice and lentils and all the dry goods that I store, but I would have a problem, one, with the cooking time that it takes to prepare that, because I don't want to get low on butane, and I don't have a lot of storage. So how I've gotten around that is I look for every time I'm in the store, I look for these little packages. They're non-GMO, organic, some of them, and they are just pre-cooked, pre-packaged little rice and lentils and beans. I usually fit, I think, about 8 packs in each. So this can be a week's worth of food, and then if I have produce, I use that up. But I can put onions in it, I can put carrots, I can put anything else that is produce, and they're just delicious by themselves as well. So if I have 2 of those, which would be 2 weeks worth of food, and then I have a third plastic container that I store in here when I'm going to be out for a long time, and it can house probably about a week or so more. So I could stay out a month without having to go to the store, but when you're out and about, you usually end up going to the store anyway. Stacy Reynolds, Susan Hare, and Freedom Jerome all asked me about my window coverings. As I told you before, this van does not have any windows in the back. It was a cargo van. But it did have these little placements for if you want to cut out a window and add one. But I used the little area in between to just kind of do some fancy schmancy. And I didn't, again, have the skills to put a whole big piece of wood like some people do. So with kind of the knowledge that I have in crafting and different things like that, and wanting to have the aesthetic of the wood, I first, as many people know from Bob Wells, put on Reflectix, which acts as a little bit of a barrier from the cold. But I would just cut this in the shape that I needed behind here, and I used a little bit of self-adhesive glue to kind of tap that down. And then this, it's just like a little piece of balsa wood, and it is from Hobby Lobby. I literally would just go down that there. This is actually one that's cut, but there's longer ones, and I would just go down and cut them a little bit longer than here so that I would shove them in. But so you see that the Reflectix is behind there, and this is pretty pliable wood, so that's why I would just kind of shove it in here and then shove it in the corner as much as I could and move it so that it stayed. And so I did that all throughout, here and behind this as well. B.A. Robinson and Louise Jones both had a question on how I deal with insects and bugs. So I just went online and I saw these, which are outdoor patio curtains. So they have a real fine netting, but it allows a lot of air through, and then put a string through the bottom of it so that I can do this. Put it around this little area there, and so then I just kind of tie that around here. So that, so far I haven't needed to use them, so I will let you know how they work when I do go out with them. I have several of them for that side and this side and the back, because I have all of those areas open sometimes. So Matt DiMaggio, hi Matt, good friend of my son's, asks, how do you cook or do laundry? So I did the video on how I cook, so I hope you got to watch that, Matt. And laundry probably deserves a video in itself, but I do use laundromats or when I am at other people's houses or my own. Doug Kramett asks what type of boots I have, and so for the benefit of others who might wonder what my boots are, these are called Bluntstones. They are from Australia. And they are wonderful because they slip on, which I like. I don't have to deal with laces. They're good hiking boots. They're good everyday boots. They're comfortable. They shape to your feet after a while. When you first get them, you have to kind of wear them in. But after wearing them like once or twice, they shape to your foot. And they're like Birkenstocks, where they're kind of guaranteed for life. And you can kind of go back to the company and say, hey, if you have a problem with them. And they're good company. Patricia O asked if I was out of breath in my first video that I did, and that was funny because I really was out of breath because I had made my bed up and down so many times while we were filming that. So thank you for being concerned, but I am breathing fine now. Carmen Darlin Seattle asks, ha ha ha, can I just be you? And you just be you, Carmen. And Mona Provost again asks, can I show you what's in the back in the garage? Well, you have kind of seen it, but if you want, we can look again. So Mona, to answer your question, I have these, which as you saw over here, it's just one of those shoe containers that I hooked on up here, and I just have odds and ends in here, games, different things that I use. And then here is just added storage if I need. And then underneath, I have this is basically my garage. So I have tools and little equipment and stuff like that in here. So that is what I have narrowed it down to. Here I have blank so that I can put some firewood, because I did notice that sometimes I needed just some empty space in case I gathered things along the way, or for any other reason I needed a space, so I just left some negative space here. So I got a suggestion from Pam Murphy, I believe, who said, have you thought about collapsible tables that they're aluminum and they kind of go down? And it got me thinking. I saw a friend of mine, Marie, has something very similar, and I really liked hers, so I started investigating what I would like. And so I will show that to you in another video because I think it's worth it by itself because it's a really good product, and I love how it looks in my van, and 4 people can actually sit comfortably and eat and play cards and whatever inside my vehicle. And I hope that this answered a lot of questions. I know there's a lot more questions. Keep commenting below because I do try to get back to you. I am very grateful for your questions and your interest, and I will do the best I can. And stay tuned for next time. We will be getting prepared for a road trip, so I will show you what I do to get prepared for that. Thanks for watching.